Hello.
Hi,
I've
Anna.
Hello,
asked,
can you hear me all
hi.
right?
Yes, thank you. I've asked everyone where they're from, and I see there's people from Denmark, Pakistan, British Columbia, Texas, Costa Rica. Welcome, California.
Saw that.
Yes, and North Carolina, Atlanta. Oh, wow, we
Where do
have
you live, Anna?
I'm in California.
Oh, okay.
There's someone from here too. And Eric is in
Mm-hmm.
Costa Rica. Great. So I guess we could start. Yeah,
All right.
good. Hello. So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us from all over the world. I'm Anna from GreenGeeks, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar with Topher, Modern Images on Your Website Faster, Easier, and Cheaper. Topher DeRosia is the owner of MediaForge Productions and curator of Hero Press. So, real quick, before we start, I want to say a couple of words about GreenGeeks. For those of you who are watching maybe the recording and not familiar with us, we're a 300% green energy web hosting provider, which essentially means we put back 3 times the power we consume into the grid in the form of renewable energy. And we have been recognized by the US EPA since 2009 as a Green Power Partner. We offer share hosting, reseller hosting, VPS, and dedicated server. Also, we plant a tree for every hosting account we provision, and we recently reached 50,000 trees planted through our partnership with global reforestation nonprofit One Tree Planted. So now that that's out of the way, we're going to have some housekeeping items. If you have any question that you can think of during the presentation, please put them in the Q&A, and Topher will be answering them at the end of his presentation. Also, you can chat in the chat room, as you've been doing, telling us where you're from. But remember to select everyone if you want everyone to see what you're discussing. And, we want this to be interactive and hear your thoughts during the webinar. And as always, we're recording this session, so if you need to step away, we'll be sending the recording to everyone in the next few days. And finally, we have enabled live transcription, so you have the ability to enable them during the webinar by clicking on the show captions icon. And now I'm going to introduce first Erica Barbosa from our GreenGeeks team, who will be assisting us in the Q&A and the chat. So hi, welcome, Erica. Do you want to say hi?
Hi, Anna. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I am Erika Barbosa. I am from Costa Rica. I work in the partners team, and today I'm going to be assisting the chat. I hope you enjoy today with Topher, and thank you for being here.
Great. And then a few words about Topher. I've known Topher since I think 2019, when we met at a lot of work camps here in the US.
A
Topher is a
lot.
yeah, a lot of camps, and I remember Denver. So Topher is a web developer for over 30 years and a WordPress developer for 15 years. He's contributed to WordPress core, created hundreds of plugins and themes, wrote much of the WordPress plugins handbook, attended nearly 80 WordCamps, maybe more now, and spoken at over
Yeah.
30. Yeah. And he also curates heropress.com. So, hey, Topher, do you want to say hi? I've already introduced yourself, but say hi to people and then
Sure.
start sharing your
Yeah.
screen.
I am Topher, and this week my wife and I are staying in an Airbnb, and it's a mobile home, a trailer in the woods. And so that's my background looks a little different than you might expect, but it's been really fun this week. All
That's
right.
cool.
And shall I share?
Yes, please start sharing and
Okay. It jumps around. All right, there we go. Oh, I have to hide a lot of things here. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's get started.
yeah.
What is this about? This is about migrating to modern image formats without having to greatly expand your workflow. Traditional image formats, GIF, JPEG, and PNG, have been surpassed in both image quality and file size by more modern file formats, WebP and AVIF specifically. They're great. I love WebP and AVIF. They're wonderful. But in the world we live in, most people are still dealing with old formats. Your camera probably gives you JPEG or PNG, or if it's Apple, it's HEIC. And if you want to use those, you have to convert them. Or if you want them converted to modern formats, you have to do something to convert them. And that takes time. And if you do a lot of images, it takes a lot of time. And time is money. The conversion process can cost money. And so we're going to look at how to avoid that. I want to talk just a few minutes about the modern formats. AVIF makes the smallest file size that I've seen, 90% smaller. I took, well, here, I can't, no, I'm not going to do that yet. I took a 5 megabyte JPEG and got it down to just 20K, and it looked great, and it blew my mind. WebP doesn't get quite as small, but it can do semi-transparency where AVIF cannot, and it can do animation where AVIF cannot. And so it basically combines all the great stuff of all three of the legacy formats into one better file format. So the solution basically is to automate the conversion. You don't want to open up your Photoshop or whatever every time you want to just convert an image. That would take so much time. Some legacy options. There's many sites that will do this. Cloudconvert.com is one of them. You upload your image, you click a button, it says, here, download your WebP. That's still one more step, one more thing you have to do. Another option is to use a plugin in WordPress to convert on the fly. And there are many of these. And they can either run on your own server, and those are usually free, but they take up resources on your server and they can take some time. Or they run on a remote server, which takes the resource hog off your server, but then you're usually paying because you're borrowing somebody else's server. And the plugins often will have a free area, but at some point you're going to end up paying. Additionally, basically all the legacy options allow for vastly outsized original images to remain on the server. If you're a developer, you may have a client that takes their 4,000 pixel images from their camera and uploads them directly. And WordPress is smart enough not to use those. They make a scaled version. But the original remains on the server. And if you end up with hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of images, that's an enormous amount of server space. And you're going to end up paying for that. So the modern option is to make format conversion part of the upload process. So when you click upload, it converts your JPEG to WebP in that process. It doesn't change your old workflow. You throw in a JPEG and it converts for you. It doesn't take any extra time. It doesn't take up server resources on either yours or a remote server. And it can optionally give you control over the size of the source file. So if you have that person who wants to upload a giant raw image, it'll take care of that for you. You can avoid that, and they don't have to think about it. That's the key here. That's the whole point of this whole talk is you don't have to think about this. It'll just do it. So the plugin that I'm going to talk about today is called CIMO, C-I-M-O. In research, I found a couple more that do this, but this is my favorite so far. It's 100% free. It's on .org. There is no paid version. So you don't have to worry about someday getting held up for money. It does the conversion in your browser before it is uploaded. So there's no server processing involved anywhere. It does allow you to control the image quality. Similar to JPEG, there's a little slider. You can say, I want 40% quality or 80% quality or whatever. The plugin allows you to do that. And it allows you to limit those original image dimensions. And this is kind of flexible. I don't know if you were aware, but if you upload a giant image, WordPress will make one that it will use as original, but it has dash scaled in the file name, and the max width is 2560, which is still very large. but not outrageous. And so WordPress won't let you actually use a 4,000 pixel image on your site. It'll store it for you and take up drive space, but it won't let you use it. Simo will let you turn that off. So you can say the largest I want allowed is 1024 and turn off the scaling option, which is really useful. So I'm going to show you how that works right now. Oh, wrong direction. This is a local website just on my server or my laptop here. And first, I'm going to upload a JPEG without Simo. So I have this beautiful dandelion, and it has started the upload. Now, this is my file system. And you can see that it has uploaded only the original so far, and it is 5.5 megabytes. And there we have that scaled one that I mentioned. It's 2560. So just like that, WordPress made it so you can't use a 5 megabyte file on your site. The best or the worst it will do is 465K, which is still very large. There's our 300 pixel one at 18K. And our thumbnail 150 by 150 is 10K. It's quite small, but I mean, that's a really little image too. You're not going to use that very often at all. So let's see here. All right, the image or the upload is finished. So now I'm going to turn on Simo and upload the same image. And normally WordPress doesn't like that. However, since the new one is going to have a .webp extension, WordPress will see them as different. Here, let's turn that on so we can get more info. There we go. All right, so that's how long it took to do the conversion to WebP. So now it's uploading WebP. Let's go back here. And here you can see my two originals. There's the JPEG and the WebP. The JPEG was 5 megabytes, and the WebP is basically 800. So just like that, we have reduced the amount of file space by 5 times, which is amazing. The scaled one is 218, which is more than half of the JPEG. The 300 went from 18 to 11K. Yeah, let's do some more here. Our thumbnail went down to 4.7K. So that's cool. We have reduced our file sizes, but now let's take a look at the images themselves and see how they compare. So you know what? I'm going to do it in a tabs so they look the same. So I'm going to leave this zoomed. I'm not sure how well you can see it over Zoom, but pay attention to the detail like around this little bud here, because those hairs are where JPEG would chew it up or something like that. And so I'm going back and forth. And I can't really tell the difference. So we reduced our file size by 5 times, and we can't really tell the difference. And I didn't do anything unique, different from my old way. The old way, I would have just uploaded a JPEG. I did the exact same thing this time, but now I have WebP, which is amazing. I want to, before we move on to the next thing, this is a blog post that I wrote that does some more comparisons. So this is a JPEG in full dimension. It's 1.6 megabytes. These are the same image in different formats. So this is a JPEG again, same one, same size, but at 40% quality. So we went from 1.6 megabytes down to 459K. This is a GIF. I don't know if you knew this, but GIFs can only have 256 colors. So this looks actually surprisingly good for being a GIF. But it's huge, 3.2 megabytes. Ping, 8 megabytes for that image. Which, pings are great for quality. So if you're actually publishing photos for people to print, ping is actually good. It's just very large. WebP, what is this? WebP, same one, 200K. So we went from 1.6 to 200K. And then, so that was a huge image. I uploaded the same one, but half size. And we got down to 89K. So at 2048, that's wide enough to fill most browser screens at full screen. So you could use this for a banner for across the top for only 89K. That is amazing. Your site performance is going to go way up. People are going to be much happier. Your system resources are going to go way down. It's going to cost you less money. It's just a happier place to be. But what about past images? I've had a business website for 12 years and it has 100,000 images. And they're all JPEGs and they're all huge. What can I do about that? Simo will not help you. It works only on current uploads. So you have to do something about them. And there are a zillion plugins that can, purport to help you with this. Insanity is my favorite right now. It's very small. It does one thing and it's free. So that's great. So I'm going to turn that on for me. And once it's on, here, I'm going to go to settings real quick. You can say max dimensions for images. Now, what it's doing right here is basically what Simo does. So if you do that in Simo, then you don't need to worry about this. The magic is here at the bottom, bulk resize images. So I'm going to say 2560 for all of them. There we go. JPEG quality. This is tricky. I usually only like to mess with quality when I can see the image. I usually choose 40. Occasionally, that's not great. 82 is a little high, but it's probably going to make really good-looking images. Also, this is not going to convert them to WebP. This is going to reduce your 4,000 to 10,000 pixel images down to 2056. So I'm going to hit save. And rather than do bulk, I'm going to show you that if you go to the media library, let's see, here we go. Oh, haha, this one's already 2056 or 2560 because it's looking at the scaled version. Okay, so let's go back to Insanity and we'll make it, I'll set it back to 1920. Just so that we can see it happen. All right, media library. There we go. So you can do the bulk thing and it will do 10,000 images. I recommend first you come into your media library and there's a resize image button and you can do one at a time and see how it goes. So I'm going to do well, you know what? Before I do that, let's look at just this one. Okay, so there it is. 5.5 megabytes. Resize image. Please wait. So keep an eye on how long this is taking. We're at 4 or 5 seconds now. We're at about 10. There we go. 10 to 12 seconds. Keep that in mind when you think about doing this to 10,000 images. It could take days or weeks. So now let's see what we have here. Oh, it didn't change the file size. Maybe it did it only for the scaled one. Oh, 303K. And yeah, the original was 465. Okay, so Insanity does not change the original one. But again, there are a zillion plugins which will let you either delete this original and use only the scaled, or reduce the size. So Insanity is going to work on your dash scaled image, which is the one WordPress is going to use anyway. One thing to keep in mind is one advantage, the only advantage I can think of to keeping very large images is that if you ever want to regenerate thumbnails, it'll do it from the large one. And there's a great plugin to regenerate thumbnails. Sometimes WordPress loses them. Sometimes you add a new size programmatically and you just need to rip through all of them and do it. That said, the 2561 is going to be great. You're not going to make a larger version than that. Upscaling is a terrible idea. So, in my opinion, you should delete all of the original uploads. Let's see. I want to go back to my slides. That is the end of my slides. That's what I have for you today. It's not that long. It's not complicated. You should use Simo to upload your images, and it's going to literally save you time and money. I would love to hear questions.
Okay, so I see some question in the Q&A. Riyadh is asking about SVG.
Oh, yes. I love SVGs. The thing about SVGs is they're not actually images. All of the other image types are binary, and your computer knows how to read them. SVGs are actually XML files, and they don't have an image in them. They have code to describe an image. And then whatever you view that SVG with has to read it all and render it for you. This makes them completely different in every way from every other image. So you don't need to think about dimensions with an SVG. It doesn't matter. It looks the same at 10 by 10 or 1,000 by 1,000. And the file size doesn't change based on those dimensions. File size changes based on complexity. If you made an SVG out of a photo, it would be ridiculously large, and I don't recommend it. But for any kind of line art or logos, that sort of thing, SVGs are really great, and I strongly recommend them.
Thank you. Do you mind, Topher, to just stop sharing your screen?
Oh, sure.
While we
I
answer
was
the
just
question.
thinking about that.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go.
Savina, great. Savina is asking, what process would you recommend to optimize images that are currently on a client site? It's a good question.
To optimize them. I don't have a favorite. I don't love any of them really because the best ones cost money. Imagify is pretty good. I mean, it works well. It's great. If you have 10,000 images, it's going to get expensive. So, if you have the budget, like if this is an enterprise site, you could download them all and run the process offline or on your own server or something like that. And it might take a week, but then you're not paying outrageous fees for doing it. And if you're only doing legacy images and you don't run into this in the future, it might be worth doing once,
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Trevor is having a hard time. He's saying he's getting a message when trying to install on WordPress. I guess he's talking about the Simo plugin. This plugin does not work with your version of PHP. Is there any version that you know?
You know what? I haven't looked at what version it requires. Let me look it up real quick. I'll bet you it's some version of 8.
Like
Let's
more
see.
updated.
It says 8.0 or higher, which
Uh,
you should absolutely be running for every other reason.
So
Um,
most likely Trevor has less than 8.0.
yeah,
That's why it's getting an issue.
yep.
Great. Thanks for answering. And Adil is asking, can we reduce animated GIF files as well without reducing quality?
If you want to keep it as a GIF, probably not. Um, saving it as WebP will definitely save you file size. And since WebP can do animation, you can even convert animated GIFs and get your reduced file size and keep your animation. It's great. I've done it many times.
Okay, great. And Deborah was asking, can Simo convert already uploaded images on your website server, which I believe you already addressed with the other
Yeah,
plugin?
it does not. It's only during upload. Now, if you downloaded that image and re-uploaded it, that would work. But then you'd have to reattach it to your post and all that. It would upload it as a new image, basically.
So it's better to use another plugin for that purpose, as you were
Right.
mentioning.
Yep.
Uh, okay, let's see. Jeffrey, how about Joomla-based websites? What is the Simo equivalent?
I don't know anything at all about Joomla.
More
Um, I
WordPress
I
based.
can tell you that the work that Simo does is done with the JavaScript canvas tools built into browsers. There's nothing really special about WordPress here. And so, like somebody who knows what they're doing could easily make it work for any other platform.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay, Deborah is asking, if you work on already uploaded, currently displayed images on your website, will there be downtime as Insanity works on the images?
Um, Almost certainly not. It does them one at a time. That's why it takes so long. It does them one at a time, and it's not a very intensive process. So, uh, unless you have a very under-resourced server, you should be fine.
Okay, great. And let's see. John is asking, earlier you mentioned there were many plugins that would downsize the original on our site. Could you recommend any in particular?
Let me look here real quick. Let's see. Well, when you say downsize, Insanity is doing the downsize. Well, I guess it doesn't do the absolute original. It just does the scaled.
The scale.
Um, let's see. Imagify is a good one. It's been around a long time. They know what they're doing. It's very good. It's on WordPress.org. There's a free version and a pay version. That's the one I have the most experience with. I don't know if it's the absolute best. I haven't tried all that many of them, but I can tell you that it's very good. You know what? Here, I'm going to put the link in the chat.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone.
Yes.
There we
Okay,
go.
let's see what else we have. Michelle, does your site run faster when images are smaller?
Uh, no, not really. Your site won't run faster. Well, okay, so there's the speed increase in simply having smaller images. It takes less time to send them across the internet. But there is a tiny fraction of speed increase from the server not having to process such a large file. It's much less than 1 second. So you're not going to notice that part. You will definitely notice your pages loading faster simply because it takes so much less time to send that data across the internet.
Right. That's very true. And then let's see. Well, we have Marinella For image SEO, 3,300K is still too big. What about other image plugins like EWWW Image Optimizer?
That's going to do basically the same thing as SEMO. It's just going to use the server to do it. If 300 is too big, you can start with a smaller image. Only upload one that's 1920 wide, and then your small ones are going to be very, very small.
Yeah. Okay. Paul was asking if are these plugins WordPress only? I guess the plugins you've been presenting.
Yeah. The ones I've been talking about are WordPress only.
Okay. Mohammed is saying, I saw there are many plugins for image optimization. So why in Immensity plugin is recommended only? I guess it's the one that you are recommending, but there are many other plugins, is
Yeah.
what it's saying.
There are many. And if there's one other one that works better for you, by all means, use it. I picked this one because I like single purpose plugins. It does one thing, and it does it well, and it's free. So it's small, it's fast, it does one thing. I like that one. But if there's another one that you like, by all means.
Oh, that makes sense. That's one thing only I like.
Yeah.
Michelle is asking, is there an easier indicator to know which images from the image library that are in use? Okay.
Yes. In prep for this webinar, I found at least one plugin that will read through your whole media library and figure out which images are not in use anywhere. I don't remember what it's called because I didn't look at it because it wasn't for this webinar, but I know there is one. I can do some research. I'm not going to do it right now because it would take too long, but I'll do some research and give it back to you so that it can go in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. Jay is saying, I guess a developer, as a developer, can you talk about why we should have smaller imaging on our sites? Well, there's a lot of reasons why we should have smaller.
The two big ones are smaller. Smaller means two different things with an image. It can mean in file size, but it can also mean in dimensions, like how big it looks on the screen. So smaller in file size is going to do two things for you. It's going to take up less server space. And if you're on a host that charges by how much space you're using, you might end up paying more money if you have larger images. But also, it's going to make your web pages load faster. And with a dramatic reduction in file size, you will get a dramatic increase in speed.
Okay. Also, there are a lot of reasons to have smaller images. Let's see, Mary, you mentioned regenerating thumbnails. Should you do this after using Insanity?
No, it wouldn't do anything. I mean, you could run it, but it would do nothing.
Okay.
Because, yeah, that's just the way that works.
Okay. And then we have here a deal. Is there any service we can upload all our website images on their server and then embed them on our website, similar to how we embed YouTube videos?
Yes and no. There are several things that I want to say about this. One is what you're describing as a CDN. And there are a zillion CDNs. You can get third-party CDNs. You can, many hosts have one built in. You can build your own. So you could, like, I don't know, get a DigitalOcean droplet or something and put them on there. And there are plugins which will connect to a remote media server. Human Made makes a really good one. It's a little bit complicated, but not too bad. But it lets you have a remote server. So, I don't know, say you're a photography site and you have literally 1 million images and you don't want to put those on commodity hosting. It would just make their drive explode. you could get a relatively cheap VPS or something somewhere and just upload those images there, and then use that plugin from HumanMade to use those. I don't recommend it for like a blog or even a small business. This is something that you would do for a site that literally has an outrageous number of images, and they're probably large. So I don't know, a stock photo site that has 1 million images and they're all outrageously big. You would want to do that.
Thank you, Topher. I guess I don't see any other question in the Q&A.
Okay. I have
is
another
any-
thing that I'd like to show, if that's
Oh,
all right.
yes, please, of course, sure.
Okay. Let me share my screen again. And we'll see if it zooms me off to the wrong. Yes, it did. Come on. I don't know why it does that. Okay. This is the settings page for CMO in my site that I was just using. At the top is this cool reporting thing. I only uploaded one image. But it tells me my optimized size, but it tells me how much I've saved total. So once you've uploaded a few hundred images, this number is going to get pretty high. Additionally, WebP can have an image or a quality setting just like JPEG can. Right now it's at 80. You should do experiments to see what you get. But somebody asked about how like a 300K image is still too big. Well, if you drop the quality down 10 or 20, you'll get an even greater savings. So maybe that's your path forward. Here's where you can set that maximum image dimension. So here you could put in 2560, and if somebody uploaded that 4000K image or 4000 pixel image, it would convert it beforehand. It would never get uploaded. It would only upload the 2561. And then it's not making that dash scaled version because the original is that size. So you have one less image on the server. I do recommend that, putting in something reasonable here. There isn't a hard and fast rule of how big is too big or how small is too small. Just put in whatever works for your site. Keep in mind that that will be the largest version on your site. So if someday you decide, oh, I want a really big one, it's not going to work. But do some trials, figure out what works for your site. This right here, WordPress automatic image scaling. If you turn this off, it's not going to make that dash scaled version, no matter what, even if you uploaded a really big one. I don't recommend it, but you can. And then WordPress makes all of these sizes every time you upload an image. You can turn these off right here. So if you say, I never, ever use the thumbnail, ever, I don't even want it, turn it off, and then you don't have a thumbnail. If you make custom sizes, they will appear here as well. And making custom sizes is not very hard, and lots of plugins and themes do it. So if you decide that you don't want that size, then you can turn it off right here. So that's what I wanted to show you before we left.
Oh, great, thank you. Okay, let's see. I think, oh yeah, I see one more question, but I was going to ask you, if someone wants to contact you, what is the best way to get in touch with you? And someone is asking, can I have your contact details?
Yes, I can tell you now, but I'll bet if I give you Anna my contact info, it'll be on the page with the webinar.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
You can email me at topher@topher.how, which is a real domain name, topher.how. That's a site where I post all my tutorials and things like that. And probably will post this here. Post this there. You can find me on WordPress.org, make Slack, Topher1Kenobi, and actually Topher1Kenobi everywhere. Every social network. I'm on literally 24 Slacks in the WordPress space. HeroPress has our own Slack. If you go to heropress.com/Slack, you can sign up for our Slack. and take part.
Yeah, that's true. We can put all this information in the recap for everybody to have it handy. And then I see
Sure.
two more questions popped up. Mohammed is asking, would you recommend the Lightspeed plugin for image optimization, as this plugin do many of the works for website speed? Lightspeed.
This goes back to the issue of using a paid remote service to do it. I don't recommend it in the future. I like doing it in the browser with Simo, or I'm guessing there will be many more plugins like this. I think that this is the future of compression, actually, is that it will be done on the browser everywhere. However, I do like Lightspeed, and if you need to process a ton of old images, it would be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I like Lightspeed too. And then I see something, Gisu, I guess. The settings apply to new photos or would modified old photos. I think
Yeah.
she's talking about the last settings you
Only
were
new.
showing.
Yeah,
Only
only
new
new ones.
photos. Okay, great. Perfect. Well, I hope everybody will watch the recording. We'll send with that and your contact details and few notes.
I
And
will,
thank you. Yeah, Erika will
Yeah.
take care of that.
I would like to make a little question for Topher.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think about create photos with AI?
This is a very complex question.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not a fan of AI, mostly because most of the time when I try to learn from it, it's wrong. When it tries to code for me, it doesn't work. And the issues I have with AI generated images are that the art came from someone somewhere, and a lot of it was without permission.
Yes.
So I don't like that. It wouldn't surprise me if someday they fix that problem. There's a certain style of cartoon that I'm seeing a lot in the last couple of weeks. They're all the same style. I'll bet that was created specifically for AI, and that's fine. If you want to have your cartoons look like everybody else's on the internet. Yeah, I don't use them. I don't recommend my clients use them. What you do with your own life is your decision.
Okay, thank you, Topher.
Yeah.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you for being honest about how you feel about it. And someone is saying great answer.
Yes.
Michelle is saying great answer on that. Okay. So I guess, like I said, we're going to be sending out the recording and, keep watching for upcoming webinars on greengeeks.com/webinars. And thank you, Topher, for joining us from the middle of nowhere or like in woods, the woods.
Yes, I
And you
literally
have
am out
great
in the woods.
Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's great. We love it. And thank you, Erica, for helping out and the great question on the AI. And thank you, everybody, for watching us. And we'll, send everybody the recording soon. So I'm gonna let everybody go.
All right.
Thank you, Anna.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Topher.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.